Am I the butthole for letting my kids live in filth? I am currently a stay-at-home mom to 4 kids. A 10, 8, 2 and 1-year-old. As you can imagine, the house gets messy if I don't keep on it constantly. Throughout this pandemic, everyone has been home. Hubby is working from home, my 10-year-old and 8-year-old are distance learning, and the babies are, well, they are babies. They are always home. This normally isn't a problem for me. I have to clean a bit more and help my older ones with school, but all in all, not too much has changed for myself. My family, on the other hand, seem to think being home all day every day is grounds to be lazy 24/7. I do not put up with this, but somehow, my floor is a catch-all. When I talk to everyone, or discuss chore charts, everyone agrees with me, then goes right back to normal. The older kids have completely lost their allowance due to this. On the incident. A little under a week ago, I told everyone it's their responsibility to clean. I would still wipe down stuff, wash the dishes, do laundry and mop/vacuum, but it was up to everyone else to put dishes in the sink, clothes in the hamper, and make sure surfaces/floor are picked up enough for me to do my part. My family has done none of this, and to be honest, I'm probably kind of a dick about it. Oh, you don't have anything to eat off of? Guess you should put dishes in the sink. I do still feed everyone. Oh, you tripped over the crap in the floor? Maybe it would help if you picked it up. My family is slowly getting the hint and are coming up with a plan to tackle the mess. My mother-in-law thought it was a good idea to make a surprise visit and saw the state of my house. She was disgusted and proceeded to bitch me out for not doing my job. I told her I'm doing my job plus hers by teaching my husband/her son and my kids how to pick up after themselves. She threw a fit and threatened to call CPS for letting my family live in filth. I told her to get out of my house. My husband has apologized, but I'm starting to feel bad. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. You're a stay-at-home mom, not a slave. The children, I am including your husband in that, should do the bare minimum of tidying up after themselves. Your mother-in-law is so unbelievably far out of line, threatening to call CPS on you, and you had every right to kick out. Edit. Thanks for the awards, folks. Calling CPS would be reporting both parents anyway. CPS does not assign chores to one parent or another. Both would be held responsible, and both would be investigated. This shows how much mother-in-law sees her son as a little kid who should be babied by his wife. Gross. Not the butthole. Edit. Thank you for the awards. Oh God, ew, you're right. Alternate reality version. Mill, I'm calling CPS on you because of this filthy house. Do your duty as a mother. Up, but mother-in-law, we're child-free. In that reality, CPS forces you to have kids when called. CPS stands for Child Providing Services. Worst nightmare for child-free couples. Different alternative reality, because CPS would never actually do this. CPS carts kids off temporarily. Mother-in-law gets upset the husband wasn't taken care of too. She'd probably file a complaint with Adult Protective Services on his behalf. Your mill is way out of line to even threaten to waste the time of CPS. Not the butthole original poster. CPS wouldn't cart kids off temporarily? Sorry if I'm misinterpreting, but they do that all the time. It's called respite care. I think they just meant in this case they wouldn't. It seems improbable that CPS would come once and remove the children because the home was untidy. Good point being, this is not /you/job, as mother-in-law said, it is just as much on your husband, and I think there should be a harsher conversation with him about helping out and helping you get the kids to do their part, kind of the whole point of being partners. You're not a maid. It's a rather old school mentality that it's just on the woman to clean, should have went out the door when women became half the household income in most homes. And they'd probably walk out as soon as they understood that mom here is trying to teach responsibilities and no one is actually in danger. So, CPS have real things to deal with. Messy house is not one of them. Wasting their extremely precious time would be selfish. I think they might be concerned if a family with 4 young children didn't have clothes and toys on the floor. I doubt they would take the report my son's house is messy because his wife is a lazy bitch seriously. They have way too much to do with kids who are beaten and starved to look after. But the fact that mother-in-law goes to that extreme, and categorizes her deal along with those awful parents, is really alarming. She shouldn't be allowed to visit if she's going to make those sorts of threats. Disappointed face. No, never. Dad is the victim here, obviously. They would surely arrest Mom on the spot. It's her job to clean up after everyone at all times. They would make mother-in-law's special boy testify against her for the horrors she tried to put him through. Who expects a grown man to, gasp, pick up after himself? And what fresh horror is teaching children responsibility? I'm surprised the police weren't called immediately for this awful injustice. I bet a monster like Original Poster doesn't even cut the crust off her husband's sandwiches like he likes, or fold his clothes the correct way. Mother-in-law's precious angel likes his boxers folded and they better be downy fresh. Also, if a family having clothes and toys on the floor and dirty dishes on the table are reportable offenses, someone should report me and half the parents I know. Honestly, I've worked with CPS before and this probably wouldn't even be investigated unless the mother-in-law exaggerates. Full-blown abuse cases often don't even get investigated past the initial screening. It's pretty disheartening in those situations. More likely than not, this wouldn't make it past the call. Also NTA. I think I'd do the same. Right? Threatening CPS for non-serious issue should be grounds for going no contact. I agree. It's saying you shouldn't have kids, that you are a dang-air putting your kids in danger. Overbearing family members use it as a scare tactic, but what would they do if CPS takes the kids away? Say sorry? I didn't mean for that to happen? Overbearing is putting it nicely. Mother-in-law is being controlling, my guess is she always is, and quite simply sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. If she really needs to do that, and her family is okay with it, she can quit with the threats, and pick up the vacuum. She was disgusted and proceeded to bitch me out for not doing my job. I told her I'm doing my job plus hers by teaching my husband/her son and my kids how to pick up after themselves. Honestly, this is probably the best comeback to anything she said. If I had a son and saw that he and my daughter-in-law were letting my grandkids live in filth, then I'm taking it up with my son. Because I wouldn't know what my daughter-in-law's parent taught her, but if I'd actually done my job, then he should know how to do better. Exactly. And your comment also highlights that clearly. What Op's mother-in-law taught her son, is that the woman should do all the cleaning in the house. What a disgusting personality it must take, to target Original Poster with threats before even speaking to her own son. Ugh. Agreed. She raised an incomplete adult, then sent him out into the world and wants to complain to his wife about it? Had she done her entire job as a parent, they wouldn't be in that situation. Precisely. When my brother first got married, he was complaining to my parents about never having clean clothes because his wife didn't do laundry regularly. My dad lost his mind. He started yelling at my brother, saying he was a grown man with two hands. My brother should never expect his wife to do all the chores. What was especially funny to me was growing up we had to do our own laundry. Since third grade, we were responsible for making sure we had clean undies. Oh, Mill, I am so grateful for your understanding. I'm sure we agree that the worst possible outcome would be if your grandchildren and my children who are males grew up unable to have a satisfying, loving, and fair relationship, up to and including marriage, because they are simply confused about what their obligations as a human being and as a parent are. If you feel you need to call CPS, I will support you. I am more than happy to testify that your son does jack crap and can't really understand. Really can't understand. Understand, can't, really. And probably should have his children removed and given to his wife, who is just about ready to walk out that door. My mother-in-law is similarly overbearing and dramatic. Made a CPS threat 2 weeks ago and I told her to go ahead and call, hung up, and prepared for a visit that never happened. Even got family lawyers lined up and my daughter's medical files printed and put in a folder. Mills like this can't handle not being queen of the house, even if it's not their damn house. They would fully expect the children and demand them. In many cases they would fully expect support for those children and demand it. It's so lovely and so delightful to see their faces when the judge basically reams them out for their selfishness, entitled attitude, and inability to truly love and respect. Normally, they think that reporting the parents to CPS will mean they will be awarded custody of the kids instantly. Some states actually have grandparent rights laws that would award them custody if CPS deemed the parents unfit. Well, she can have them and clean up after them. Let's see how long she lasts with 4 kids. She could do it. She did it the whole time Op's husband was growing up. Otherwise he would have already been picking up after himself and this post probably wouldn't need to be made. People like her don't teach their children how to be self-reliant. They raise adult children so they can feel like they are still needed. Years back, me and my now ex-wife would watch our niece, whose parents, wife's sister, and her ex, were constantly fighting over child support arrears. What happened was my wife got arrested for embezzling, a long and different story, so sister's ex called CPS on us over this, of all things, took 2 or 3 visits before they left us alone. Just like if the word lawsuit pops into a conversation directed at you. End of conversation, you can speak to my lawyer from this point forward, goodbye. Should not even be on the top of your tongue. Bike thing to threaten. I actually think there should be more consequences if there are dirty plates sitting out and clothes on the floor at the end of the day. No one gets screen time tomorrow. Your kids are making you live in a mess, and that is rude. Totally NTA, and the mill is awful, but nothing is wrong with enforcing a standard of living and not letting them set it. Agreed. Turn off all electronics until the house is picked up. Do it on a Saturday and shut off the Wi-Fi. They can stop being bored by doing chores. Right, my mom would have already cut off computer, video games, and phone calls. I'm with you. There are a lot of other little luxuries that can be removed without being cruel. Screen time, favorite toys, food treats, etc. Yes, it's important to keep the demands on kids age appropriate, but it sounds like original poster is asking reasonable things. Husband is another matter. I think he needs a discussion that clarifies that this is a potentially marriage-ending issue if he doesn't pull it together and start acting like an adult equally invested in the state of their home. Lol. It is like original poster has a whole less extra child. The older ones are definitely old enough to be able to contribute to helping to keep the house clean, and your husband doesn't just get to do nothing because he works. It's completely disrespectful to treat original poster like a maid to the point where they don't even pick up after themselves. It's nice that your husband apologized, but what is he actually going to do to make it right? He needs to handle his mom, in an appropriate fashion, but he also needs to help fix the situation at home, which means not only leading by example, but by helping you enforce the expectations at home. So far he's just teaching the kids that it's okay to do what they do, because he can't be bothered to back you up with his actions. So no, Op, NTA. Don't feel bad either for how you're handling this. Your kids won't pick up the toys? Fine, all in garbage bags and hidden. They want to earn things back? They can work for it. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if they had too many toys, so time to get rid of some as well. Also, ask your husband if he married a wife or a maid? I've had to do that. My kids had far too much and it was my fault, but I fixed it and now I have 3 great adult, and my married oldest daughter has 2 sons and 1 stepson. Did something okay, I guess. Lol. Good luck. And good decluttering, YouTube helps. Not the butthole. Great suggestion. This works well for my house. I have file boxes I collect things in, and I date them. If they aren't earned back in a month, they get donated on my next shelter donation drop-off. I do put up items with sentimental value in my closet, but most of what has actually made it to donation were just an enormous excess of toys. When the first box of Barbies and clothes went out, that was the needed wake-up call. Over the next almost 10 years, I've only taken 2 more boxes. I think I was a hard ass. Something not put away got tossed. Something valuable got hidden separately and could be earned back, but it wasn't easy. Everyone had chores to do as part of the household and chores they could do for extra cash. Household chores were absolutely to be done first. We're part of a community here, not a place with a maid. A CPS threat is total grounds for cutting someone out of your life. There is no coming back, because that is really, at its core, threatening to take your children away. Op, you need to remove or, at least severely limit, this disrespectful woman from your life. Edit to add completely not the butthole. I guess she wants to become the new cleaner and babysitter. I don't even have kids, but if I did and a family member threatened to call CPS for some BS reason, you bet your ass that would be the last time they saw my kids. NTA, it's good that your husband apologized, and honestly your husband needs to step up, because if he doesn't do his part, the children just learn from him and that it's okay not respecting mom's work and time. Yeah. You really need to sit down with him and crack down on this, because it's pretty clear that the kids are taking his lead in this situation. And it's a bad lead that's going to lead to a lot of fighting when they're older and having to deal with housemates or something with no intention or obligation to clean up after them. Not the butthole. Hubby needs to talk with his mommy and set boundaries. I would be ashamed if I foisted my son off on a future partner as an entitled butthole. Just what I was thinking. It seems we've discovered why hubby is so useless. Mommy raised him to think that it's the wife's job to do all the housework. Not the butthole original poster. Proud of you for taking this approach. Expecting them to pick up after themselves is the bare minimum, and this seems to be a good way to teach them how to do it. Yeah, and what bothers me is she just dropped by unannounced, which is a bit rude in my opinion. But to then go and judge the state of the house, when the family has young children and wasn't expecting you? So out of line. In a pandemic. Not just disrespecting her work and time but her. They are treating original poster like a maid and not mom or even person, and that's just bad manners. You're right, ops needs to step up and be a good human to teach the small humans. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.